Hello. I just wanted to show off some quirks with Banshee and how her Sonar ability interacts with status effects. Namely, I just wanted to show off that Sonar is coming into the mix after the status effect damage is already calculated. So, status effects that are not targeting an enemy's hit zones are not going to benefit from Sonar. Uh, so yeah, to show off what's happening, we've got a 200% power strength Banshee with a 10 times damage multiplier on Sonar, and we are going to be using the Phantasma, which is just a very heavy status weighted weapon. Almost all of its damage comes from status, so when Sonar is working versus not, it will be very apparent. Uh, so, yeah, starting off, we've got our typical viral heat Phantasma, and we'll just be going forward with these Manic Bombard Eximus units with 47.5 million effective health. And just 1.5 million damage. Let's see if we can get Sonar into one of their heads here. Oh, there it goes. $1.5 million. Just showing that off again here. We can hopefully get Sonar on a head. That's good enough. So, yeah, 1.3 million. So like we're killing them quickly because the base damage of the gun is still being boosted by Sonar, but the status effect is not. And so like the time to kill is not getting 10 times better. Versus if we switch over to electricity, which as one of the AoE status effects, it can target limbs, we'll see a very dramatic difference. So electricity and gas are the two status effects that can do this, where, like, well, let's get our base out of the way, or base test. Oh, yeah, I saw 700k in there, followed by 500 and 400. If we... There's Sonar on this guy's torso. 2 million damage. $2 million damage. And an interesting thing about electricity is that the entire stack of electricity is going to be applying to whatever limb received the most recent electricity stack. So I can apply all of my stacks to the head here and get the 3 times head bonus, and then move them over to his leg with Sonar here and gain the Sonar bonus. And that also adds an interesting tech we can use with Magnetic, where, for those unaware, Magnetic procs, when an enemy has Overguard, it will force proc electricity once that Overguard breaks, shields as well. And then it will just, the base damage of that electricity proc forced by Magnetic will be based on the total overguard or shield on that enemy. So it's basically an infinite scaling dot based on whatever the health of the value, like the health value of the enemies you're fighting. And electricity is kind of weird, or magnetic is kind of weird, where it doesn't really have a hit zone associated with that force procced electricity when it applies, but we can move it around and target Sonar by using the actual electricity of our weapon. So let's just make a fresh Sonar here. We're just going to target that, and there we go. 2 million damage. This build on the weapon didn't even have any base damage mods on it. It's pretty much just the magnetic and electricity. Just several million. So we're able to crash this enemy's overguard into the Sonar spots here and turn its overguard into basically the only health that we need to worry about. And then once the overguard's gone, the enemy's effectively dead. In a real mission with more naturally scaled enemies, this usually results in an instant kill, especially if we use something with an actual base damage mod on here. But yeah, it's just a handy tool to make use of with Banshee. And then here we're going to go ahead and show off like kind of just how big the difference can get. We're going to use an actual build here with galvanized mods and a faction multiplier. In fact, yeah, let's go ahead and use a primed faction multiplier. There we go, just speed this up a little bit. And I am going to pre-stack the galvanized mods because I don't feel like waiting for that. So, like, and the time to kill is quite fast, but not really because of Sonar. This is pretty much the same performance we'd be getting out of the Phantasma with its galvanized stacks up. Either way. Like, this is... like... So the heat version of the Phantasma, like, we don't need Sonar, we don't benefit from Sonar. It's basically, like... it's basically not doing anything. Banshee can kill these guys much faster with a real build. Let's go ahead and show this off with Magnetic. We're not going to use the primed charged shell because that would skew things even further, but I do have... we will show that off in a second here with this, but just... just crash them, just crash their overguard into the Sonar, and they just go down instantly. It's very silly. And then, I mean, Phantasma's a shotgun, so it has access to prime charge shells, so we can go ahead and run this. But it's kind of ridiculous just how good this gets, because we don't even really care about actually aiming that much. Like, I mean, they're also all hitting each other with the AoE from electricity. That also helps a lot. Yeah, so electricity is very, very good on Banshee. And something else to show is also Blast, because Blast works a bit differently than gas and electricity do. So gas and electricity, when applied to an enemy, they will deal damage to whatever hit zone they are actually, like, is getting the status effects applied to, right? So I can apply gas to an enemy's head, and then I can move the gas around to whatever limb I want it to. Same with electricity. Or I could apply it to the arm or leg or wherever. It doesn't matter. Blast doesn't work that way. It's very similar to heat on the individual target, but the AoE will hit the Sonar spots. Just never for the original target. It's very frustrating. Gas AoEs work this way as well, and electricity AoEs work this way, but like gas and electricity have their single target interactions that are much better than the blast single target. It's just that depending on the weapon and how the weapon works, sometimes blast ends up being the best option, but for Banshee, if you're running Blast, you're still going to want something for single target, just because you can often end up with a straggler that is just sitting there taking no damage. So let's show that off real fast. And we're gonna... So notice, this guy just obliterated the dudes next to him. No. And don't worry about the sonar spots that appear to be just vanishing into thin air. That's just a simulacrum thing. It's purely visual. They do still have sonar on them. But yeah, so this guy, as I shoot him in the face, is taking almost no damage. You can see all those 260 damage, but somehow I am obliterating the guys right next to him. It's just a weird quirk. Yeah. But that said, the way Blast works can be extremely handy because, I mean, sometimes we don't really care about having the individual target having sonar. Or we don't care about the single target damage sometimes. We can absolutely just have like a sentinel or something set up to obliterate the horde. We'll just, you know, we've been playing this mission for a while. We've cast Sonar a bunch of times. Maybe we've thrown out Pillage a few times. And now we've got a bunch of duplex clones running around. You know, here we apply a little bit of viral on dudes, and the duplex bond clones are just murdering everything. So, despite not having a lot of value on single target, Blast is still extremely powerful for use cases like this. This particular setup on the duplex bond clones, credit to this goes to Amenisi, a Japanese Banshee player who showed this off. Just how ridiculous duplex can get. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to show off. Just hopefully this helps you out with building a Banshee or building weapons in general. Everything I showed off about electricity and gas also works with if you make use of, for example, primary deadhead, you can actually take this headshot bonus and put it into the electricity proc to double dip on it. So even if you're not playing Banshee, like say you want to play Site 09 or something, there's a reason to use electricity for them too, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be Banshee. This is just a fun tool to use with different status effects. So yeah, hope that helped you out. I don't have any fancy outro or anything. I'm not really a YouTuber, so see ya.